there, and welcome back to Build with the Boys. We now have issue 18 of Build the Disney Doll's House to finish out the month of May. Again, not loads to do, a bit more to do than the earlier ones. We are putting together the desk from Beauty and the Beast's room. And we do have some elements for that desk, some very nice things. We'll have a look at those in a minute. Now, there is one thing you do get with this, and you get a letter which you can change into a parchment. Now, it's very simple to do, but I'm advising you don't do it, and I will tell you why. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet is what I'm advising, for the simple reason that we're not going to fill this house with all of the elements until the end. We're not. So because what you're essentially doing is curling this thing up, if you're expecting it to stay curled up like that 2 years from now, probably not. So my advice would be, put this to one side, okay, as is, with the rest of your elements, but don't do the curling. Don't do it yet. You don't need to. Put that to one side, and then at the end, when we get to issue 120 and we fill the house up, then we'll do it. And we'll go through how to do it and whatnot, and that would be my advice. Again, you can do what you want to do. If you want to curl it, go for it. But my advice would be, we're not using it yet, so don't do it yet. That would be my advice. The other thing we're going to be doing is we are going to be adding a piece of support to the frozen wall. We are adding our first piece of coving to the frozen wall, and we are adding our last piece of cornice to Mickey Mouse's wall. Then we're done. So this wall itself is complete, but we don't install it in this one. However, I'm going to anyway. I'm not going to fully install it, but I will show. I'll put it together to show you what it looks like. And that is going to be that's going to be it for this one. Now we're going to have a chat at the end about what comes next. And I've got a very interesting picture of a completed house, but an empty completed house, so you can see exactly what this build will look like when it's complete. But it is completely empty. It's a weird thing to look at, because I don't think we've ever seen a picture of an empty completed house, but I've got one. We'll show you that at the end. We'll go into what comes next, because as I said at the back in 15, we are about to hit the accelerator, and we're going to go from having no rooms complete to 3 rooms complete in a very short period of time. So we are going to, but we'll talk about that at the end. Let's get this done, let's get this put to bed, and then we'll have a chat. As always, with a look at our pretties. I'm getting close on this, you can see the detail of. There's our little inkwell for the desk we'll be building, and here is our quill and holder, and you can see, oh yeah, how lovely is that? And then over here we have our duster, and this is Fifi. So those of you that have seen Beauty and the Beast, well, no, this is actually Lumiere's girlfriend, Fifi. She's not just a duster, but again, they turn back. That's why we've not got the ones in the faces. They turn back. They went back to being humans. We have got our build parts. We're going to build this table. That's simple enough. We've got the large cornice piece to do. Again, there's nothing too complicated about that. We have a piece of alcove, and we have a support structure for the wall, which will be added to this wall here, and then that will be it. So let's get going. Let's get this table put together. Let's get into it. Here's our table. Now, quite simply, we're going to slot the legs in. Now, let's test fit these first to see how they go. I'll always advise you do a test fit first, so you know what you're doing, where you're going, and how you're doing it. Wow, those are tight. So that's a test fit. I can't even get that back out. Well, that one's in. I'm not going to pull on it. So what I am going to do is I'm going to just tiny dot of power gel on each of these legs. I don't think it's overly necessary, because as I said, that one ain't coming out. But there we go. We'll just make sure they never come out. There we go. There's that one. Now again, just a little dot on this one. I do love the furniture in these. It's so ornate. But this is, I'll tell you, if you got a little girl and you're building this for her, she's very lucky, because this thing is going to be absolutely beautiful when it's done. It really is. All of these rooms look absolutely stunning. This thing is going to look absolutely gorgeous, and I'm sure it will generate a lot of very, very nice memories. That's it. That's our desk complete. Now all we need to do is put our quill there, our inkwell there, and we have Fifi here. Now there was something else that came in this one. Let me just grab that. Now here's our letter. Now again, it does show you how to roll this here and here, so it looks like a parchment, which would then go on the desk. And again, my advice would be not to do it, because it's going to be so long until we actually put all of the decor in the house that you don't want to get it all bashed and creased and things like that. Pop it somewhere safe in your box with the things like the Cinderella dress. Keep it nice, and then when it comes to put this all together, then we'll do it, and I'll show you on the video how to do it, and we'll do the curling together. But I would advise you leave it as is for now, because again, I think the chances of this getting kind of messed up between now and then are very high. So leave as is, and then we'll look at it when we get there. But let's get on with the build. Let's get on with the main build, which is adding these pieces to the Mickey and Frozen wall, and then we are done for the month. So, working on the Frozen side of the wall, we're going to take this pillar piece that we have here, and quite simply, it's going to slot in there. That's it. So we're just going to pop some glue on this. We're going to use wood glue. Again, this is wood to wood, so there's no reason to use super glue. We're just going to use our wood glue. I've got a nozzle block. Alright, no I don't. There we go. Okay. There we are. Right, because of the nozzle block, now too much has come out, but that's okay. That's not a problem. We'll smear some of that off. Spread it around. Alright, we'll get some up there. Let's get this nice and coated. It's difficult to see white glue on a white piece. Let's get that done. Okay. So now all we're going to do is going to pop this one onto our wall, like so. And that, believe it or not, is it. Tidy up this excess glue. So the glue went a bit mad there because I had a blockage that then suddenly came unstuck. Glue bloody everywhere. It's my fault. Rookie mistake on my part there for not checking the nozzle. That's it. So that's all we have to do at that stage. So we're going to let that dry. And that's all we've got to do with that. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to add the piece of cladding at the top. Now, this goes right up to the top. So, it does go offset. So, you'll see it doesn't sit flush with the beam. Temptations could think to sit flush with the beam. It doesn't. It goes right up to the very top. So that's where we're going to go with it. We're going to go to the very top of here. So it's going to sit flush with that. That's where we're going. So I'm going to apply some glue to that, and let's get that one stuck. So there we have this glued in place, and you can see what I'm talking about. We're going right up to the top. So we go, let me see if I can get a good view of this. Right up to the very edge. So it won't sit flush with this beam, but it's not supposed to. So we're looking good. That's where we are. Now we are going to allow this to dry, and we're going to be making the cornice piece. Now, this is very long. This is the longest one of these we're going to do, compared to some of the little stubby ones that we've done. But here's the cornice that we're more than used to at this point. Now, it's worth making sure you get this the right way. So the fatter part is the top part. That's what's going to be. This is the lower part that's going against the wall. So we know, again, we're old hands at this now, aren't we? So Mickey's head, we don't want to cut off a Mickey's head completely, so we'll lose that one to the side. So about there, coming all the way down to here, to about there. That's where we're going to go. So let's apply this sticker. We're becoming dab hands at these these stickers and these wallpapers, aren't we? So it's I don't have the nails for these tiny ones, unfortunately, so I do have to get the tweezers. So I apologise for the delay. Nope, gonna have to get tweezers. Okay, so that took me entirely too long. I need somebody with long nails to come and assist with this, but yeah, it's on now. So once this is on, smooth along here. Make sure you've got your mouse heads in the right place, trim your ends off. Now when you're working on this, be conscious that there are parts on the other side of the frozen, so don't be pushing down on it because you don't want to snap anything. But we're just going to measure this one up to make sure it fits where we want it to go. So that will be going there like that. Now there's a lip at the end. Let's make sure with the instructions over here where that lip should be. Right. So, there we go then. Right, so we're not going right to the end. So we're not going to the, we're going to there. So it should be about 1 mil at the end. So this is how we want it. We want it to there. That's where we're going to go. So then we're going to glue this one in place. We're going to hold it like we see, and there's our mil gap at the end, which matches our mil gap there. That's where we're going to go with this. So line it up with your with the tab, and then we'll be good. You could measure it against your wall as well, just to make sure. But once we're happy with it, we're going to glue that in place again. I'm going to apply the wood glue like we've done 4 times before along this piece. We're going to hold that in there, and then we'll take a look at it when it's finished. We have it. So what we can see is this fits. So it fits in snug. It's not glued. This wall doesn't go in place yet, but that's how we should be. And I would advise doing this to make sure your panels are in the right place, to make sure this is in the right place. Just mock it up. Don't glue it down. Don't jam it or anything like that. Just for now, we stick to the instructions. It's asking us not to add this wall, so let's not add the wall yet. In 19 we will be. So we'll be adding this wall, we're adding the frozen floor, the frozen walls, and we'll be doing all of that. But for now, we've just made sure our cove-in piece fits. It does. I mean, it's loose. I mean, you can see if I move it, it's gonna, you know, this isn't firm, so this isn't glued up, so it is a little bit gappy at the moment because it's all got pulled and pushed together. But it will. So yeah, it's good. But that's Mickey's room complete. That's the wall structure of Mickey's room. That's what we're going to look like. Now we're obviously going to need a door, and we're going to need 2 windows. But the actual structure of Mickey's room, there we have it. It is done. Let's have a chat. Before we do that, I thought you might want to see it from this side as well. So that's kind of, we can see where the frozen wall is. Looking in. So that's looking nice. Before we have a chat, as I mentioned, see, this wall's going to go. Let's take that off before that falls off. Before we have a chat, I want to show you this picture. This is a picture of a completed house, but an empty one. It's just a bit of a strange thing to look at, but it gives you an idea of what the completed build looks like. Empty. And then we'll have a chat. That's it for this month. I'm really rather lovely it is too. It gives you an idea of how it's going to look. Now we're not doing that yet, but we are doing it in part 19. So part 19, we're putting all this together. So everything you built up to this point, we are putting together in part 19. So all those little bits you got to put to one side, you don't worry about that. You're going to use it all in part 19. There's very little to do in 19 with regards to new parts. So don't be surprised when 19 turns up. You're like, is that it? It's small. There's a table to put together. That's it regarding new parts. But you will assemble all of this. So we will be putting the frozen walls on. We'll be laying the floor to the frozen room in part 19. So part 19 is quite involved, but it's using all the bits we've already made. Now, when I said we were accelerating, I'm not joking. So by the end of June, this is what your house is going to look like. So you can see, we're literally going to go from no rooms complete at this point, to the end of next month, 3 rooms pretty much complete. We'll go from having no elements at all to the Wonderland kitchen, to the main walls being up, and the base flooring in. It's a lot. So we really start accelerating. After that, we continue with the frozen kitchen, the Wonderland kitchen. We're going to lay the floor in there, the partition wall, and all 3 rooms will then be complete. So the structure of downstairs is complete, and we begin on the door. So we start on our first door, that's the adjoining door to Mickey and the frozen hallway. We start on that, and that will all be done in July. So at the end of July, this is what your house is going to look like. You can see the floorings then into the Wonderland kitchen. Both the divided walls are up, and we are done with the downstairs structure. We are pretty much done. The only thing we have to add are doors and window elements. That's it. Now those are a bit weird because they just sort of come and go. It's not like we just do pure windows. You'll get a window, it goes in, and then you'll do something else. You get another window for somewhere else, and it goes in, and that's what we do. But once we're done with that in July, we move away from the internals and the pretties. We do keep coming back to it, and you'll see what I mean by that. Like there's a dresser that goes in the Wonderland room, which we're going to build. That's quite an in-depth build. We'll be doing that as a whole pack. But we start on the foundation. So this thing is sat on a large foundation, and what we're going to do in August, throughout August, is we're going to be building the foundation plate that this thing's going to sit on. So that's what we're going to be doing for a while. So we're going to build all, this is going to go away. So this section of the house is going to go away. We are occasionally going to add a window or a door to it, but the bulk of what we're going to be doing for August and certainly up to about October is the base of the house, because we have to build the large plate, then we have to build up the walls, the foundations. Once that's done, this section that we just built will sit on top of it, and we're going to start to get some height, and we're going to start to get some serious width. And this is what the base plate will look like by the end of August. Here's an idea of where we're going and what we're doing. And again, you're more than capable of doing all this stuff. If you're still with us at this point, and I know a lot of new builders will come into this, but if you're still with us at issue 18, you're doing great. Because look at what you've achieved so far. Look at the skills you picked up with regards to papering and sanding, and you made the doors, and you've laid the floors, and you've put this together, and you've built the furniture. You're doing great. Keep going, don't stop. If there's any problems at all with anything, again, you can message us at buildwiththeboys@outlook.com, or you can pop it in the comments here. But again, don't tap out. I've seen a few people quit on this, and it's like, don't. You can do it. You can do it. And if you have any problems, there's me, there's other people as well that would be more than willing to help you. So, you know, stick with it. You're doing great. You really are. And that's it for this episode, and that's it for this month. We will be back with 19, 20, 21, and 22, when we're going to get on with that gorgeous Wonderland kitchen. And we've got some more good bits and pieces coming. There are other videos on the channel if you're interested in the Titanic. It's not just the build, we also tell very strange stories, sometimes quite sad stories about some of the survivors and the victims of the Titanic. We have the Ghostbusters Ecto 1. We have me and Oscar's Marvel Talk, where he's talking about his Marvel books. We have Lego. If your kids are into Lego, we've got a fun channel that we do with Oscar the Lego, and we're building the R2-D2 with Jack, which is also a lot of fun. So please swing by and check those out. If you haven't yet, please give us a like, hit the subscribe button. It helps us massively. And in a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice, and we'll see you next time.